Hello, everybody, to Bitcoin Live, or should I say UAP, the podcast. With us are, I would say, yeah, can I say your actual name, or is that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
Adam and Tover, and Sid, of
All
course.
right. Yes,
Welcome.
it is. Thanks, guys.
Hey,
We
buddy.
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good to have you guys back. This is like, your first official show on Bitcoin Live. You have been running shows for, where are you now? 400?
No, we're at
I
100.
wish.
If this was a UAP show, it would be 139. It does feel like 400 though.
It does. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's been 3 years since around this time. Like we launched in 2022, in October 2022. I can't remember exactly when in October, but yeah, it's been 3 years.
Wow. Yeah,
Right in the middle of spooky season.
Time flies.
Exactly. Yeah, time does fly.
139. So this is then like technically your first episode on Bitcoin Live, and every other week you will have another episode on Bitcoin Live from UAP, the podcast. So first of all, I want to thank you guys for being on our broadcasting platform too, and having this collaboration with you guys, because we greatly respect what you guys are doing in the field, and the content that you bring out.
Thanks, guys.
Well-
Likewise. Yeah, go ahead, Topher.
Yeah. Thank you, man, for offering us support on your platform. I mean, this is great.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
And I think when our collaboration did start this fusion, right? And we called it decentralized disclosure. And when me and Nick have also spoke, off record, I guess, it's very similar tracks when it comes to crypto and the UAP subject, right? Because both are out of the system. Well, I guess crypto now has been captured by the system, but when crypto started,
Right.
it was a very anti-establishment movement, correct? And has been captured, and we can see the same thing with UAP, where
Yep.
they're always trying to capture the narrative, always trying to keep it where they're in the middle of the story. Per se.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I think that's completely correct. And but luckily, both within UAP field and within crypto, there are still freedom fighters and people who fight for decentralization and disclosure. And those people are you and
Yes.
and us.
And you guys, exactly. Yes, I mean,
Mhm.
you guys have.
You
a
guys
huge
are my
network.
favorite people to talk to. Like, I really enjoy our podcast. We have done like three, but they were like my favorite ones.
Nice, man. Yeah, we
So
enjoy
happy to
talking to
hear
you guys too.
Yeah, of course.
So do you want to go with Louis Elizondo first?
Yeah, I guess we can. I mean, we usually don't get into the drama. I mean, Topher and I would cover some if there's some that are happening. We'll just cover it just so people know. But there's always infighting. However, this is not really like an infight. It looks like that we have elements of the Intel community trying to keep the narrative, keep their narrative prominent, and anyone who goes against it, they try to destroy, or dox or cancel. The usual things they do. And
Yeah, every single time. So be on the lookout for black SUVs outside your guys' homes. I don't know where you're at, but
right, yes, and Topher does put that into a lot of his lyrics, and it is a fear of mine as well. It's just, it happens. You get black bagged, right? It's called,
yes.
and you're disappeared.
Yeah.
Or
But
you commit suicide, right?
right, yeah. So it's kind of the same tactics.
Yeah, you
and
fall out a window.
yeah. And we were always, I was a Lou fan when he first came out. I think we all were. The guy's he speaks very well. He's great on camera. He's confident, and he's highly connected. And he was, in the UAPTF, although he did come out, because who were the first ones who were saying he was lying? It wasn't like Tupa and Red Panda and smaller accounts. It was big accounts like Green Street, although, he's kind of a nutcase, but he was one of the first ones that caught him in his lies. Also, what's his name from the Black Vault? Greenwald as well. They all believed Elizondo and were interviewing him, asking for more information, doing FOIA documents, and Greenwald found a lot of different statements coming from the government. Now, that doesn't say a lot, right? Because the government can pick and choose what it gives us. and say it's Freedom of Information Act. Um,
Yeah.
so well, we all of us have been down that road with Elizondo, and then all the space he shared, right? Like in shared that picture or a
sorry.
light that was there was a reflection of a ceiling light, and then one that was those circles and farms as well. He did that one in Congress. So all these things over and over, like what is going on now? Red Panda and Chupacabra, those are accounts in the UFO community. They're great researchers. They hold a lot of spaces, and they copy a lot of clips. So they watch a lot of shows, and listen to a lot of podcasts, clip them and share them, and get lots of information out. So they do a lot of good work. And some of that information was against Lou Elizondo. So they have claimed that Lou has an attack dog, group that will go after any accounts that are critical of him or say things that they call misinformation and attack them, either dox them, cancel them. I think Red said that his YouTube channel was deleted months ago because of that. So that's the story. It doesn't seem like really infighting. It does seem like, there's a group that wants to control the narrative, and anyone who's not on board, gets destroyed, especially if they have lots of sway and influence, which they do now. Red's got, I don't know how many thousands of, is he at 100,000 now? I'm not sure.
And yeah, I mean, it's a story as old as time. There's the in group and there's the not in group.
Yes. Right. Yes.
And now they have a control over the algorithm, so Elon Musk can push any government narrative, and people will think it's like an independent media, but it's like a government disinformation campaign going on. So yeah,
Right.
I don't trust like big accounts, especially who got big in last 6 months, because that feels unnatural.
Yeah, and apparently it's yeah.
Do we have any examples of people who were sort of hunted down by these groups and taken down? Or
well, Red says, I mean, yes, they're do they have it in these spaces? What is this one? This one, Lou Elizondo and his NYPD friend fan club. Here is it. Campaign. Yeah, see, so there's a campaign to get him and Tupa shut down with false reports. It's a 10-minute video though, but we don't have to go through all of it. They say in the beginning.
Okay, so there are actual examples of people being shut down.
Yeah, definitely there is, and doxed.
And is there then, is it just because they criticize Lou that they are taken down, or is it a narrative that they don't like? That
I think it's more criticizing the narrative than it is, individual people. But someone like Lou is, he's central to the narrative, right? And so if you criticize that one person, you're going against the narrative,
right? Exactly. He was their guy.
They put these figures in the forefront, and if you're criticizing them, it's not really even about criticizing them. It's about criticizing the narrative.
Yeah, here, let's listen to this clip. Is it on the?
And is it sort of that they are criticizing his credibility, or criticizing
all of the above?
Okay.
All of the above, yeah. Because if you attack Lou, then you're really attacking this modern, recent disclosure effort that started in 2017. Right? It started with the articles, then these guys started coming out, and Lou was part of TTSA as well, wasn't he? Yeah, he was part of TTSA, and then that whole push when they had those documentaries.
I wanted to ask you guys. With what's it, TTSA?
TTSA, to the Stars Academy. Yeah,
you got Peter Lavenda also working for them, but I actually do like Peter Lavenda. He wrote some excellent books, and he's a little bit like Joseph Farrell.
He's very similar to him. You're right. Yeah, he's the same type of thinker.
Yeah, he's very sort of eclectic and finding these. I think he also was the first one with the red lines and sort of the Nazi unholy alliance and that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, he covered that early on as well. Yeah, Peter's has some great books, and he wrote Tom DeLonge's books basically.
Yeah. That's sort of why I'm surprised that he's working with them if he's such a free thinker, and but I guess they use him because of his credibility,
right?
That he brings.
I mean, it was the people that DeLong had around him were extremely connected, and and supposedly connected to this subject, right? He was working with generals, he doesn't name most of them, with the intelligence agencies, and he did
Mellon.
have a movement going, and he had what's his name also, Semivan was TTSA as well, so
Yeah.
really high level people, and Lou was in there, so we know
Yeah.
where TTSA went, nowhere.
But I
Um,
also, I also think Tom DeLonge, he became a useful patsy. Like they would just
Yeah.
feed him, false information all the time to discredit him, essentially, discredit the whole TTSA
Yeah.
organization.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
did.
agree. I don't trust Tom DeLonge. I think he was
Right.
also a tool for the
Yep.
government.
Yep.
Exactly.
He said the
Yeah.
right things. He said the right things.
Exactly.
And I feel like all they want is, because what DeLong also pushed was immunity, right? Immunity
Yeah.
for these guys who did the cover
Yeah.
up. Yeah, and Lou says the same thing. They want immunity for them, even though it's held back humanity. But yes, I'm maybe for moving on. Just disclose everything,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. But we don't really know, of course, what we will be disclosing when we say that, right? So,
Yeah.
but I am also for full disclosure. Right now we don't know anything really, right?
Well, I don't think anybody's planning to disclose anything. I think they want to
We are.
control. We are, but I'm talking about the government. I think this is like the Project Blue book Blue Beam they are doing right now, and they just want to control the human civilization and all the information which will come out from the UAP hearing and all those things. That's a controlled narrative to scare people and to control them.
Control.
And
I,
and
I
and of
100%
course,
agree.
I agree, but there's also a third element to it, and that is to bring a certain aspect of this phenomenon to us, right? They will reveal some of it because
Yeah,
why.
to control us, not for the betterment of the humanity.
Oh, I agree, but they will reveal stuff that will blow people's minds, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the Intel community has always had this schism, right? It's the ones who, yes, will reveal, but only in a way that will increase their power,
Power and control.
and
Yeah.
and control. But then there are small elements, excuse me, elements that do want to help humanity. Those always get killed, canceled, right? Those are the ones that don't survive.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
bad health.
Right. Yeah.
And
So
but I just want to say one thing about To the Stars Academy. I do have read a couple of their books from Peter Lavanda, and they are really cool. I mean, there's
they are really cool.
good
Yeah.
stuff in those books.
Well, the God War and
And the
those ones,
Machine.
right? Yes,
Yeah.
and the Machine. That's right. I think the third one I didn't like very much. I forgot why. I loved the first two. I forgot why I didn't like the third one.
I only read.
I didn't even finish it. Oh, okay. But yeah, definitely good books. So we're at this stage now where Carl Nell also says. I mean, it's taken out of context, but he was in a podcast or interview with Richard Dolan, and he said that disclosure is done, or at least he's saying this disclosure that started from 2017 and this push for the UAP Disclosure Act, those efforts are done or finished, and we have to come up with another strategy to push disclosure. That's what he said, and he's one of the guys that worked at the UAPTF. He's the one that says no doubt, right, that there's aliens. Yeah,
the powerful interview, that one was
Right.
we actually covered that. So, so you got what's it, Christopher Mellon, I think his name is.
Christopher Mellon, that's right. He was there.
Yeah.
And he's also criticized, right, by sort of being in Team Louis.
Yep.
So, but I think he is behind the Soul Foundation, right?
He's in it. Did he resign recently because of something?
I have no idea.
But yeah, I mean, Chris Mellon, he comes from the Mellon family, so like the robber barons of the United States, very influential family, billionaires, and he was deputy secretary, I think, of defense, right? Something high up there, or something with intelligence. And he used to say that there's no cover up, that he looked into it and there's no cover up. And then 2 years after that, he started becoming someone who pushes the threat narrative, that it's a threat.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, so we just have to be careful. You know, we have to try to understand what the intent is behind someone. You know, is their intent to really free humanity with information, or are they trying to further enslave us and take more power?
The latter.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost always one way there.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
almost always someone looking to get power. Almost always.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, sorry. No, I was just going to say at least the ones that are prominent or easily prominent, we have to be very careful of.
Absolutely. I found out something really cool about Three-Eye Atlas.
Yeah.
So you guys are familiar with the WoW signal, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So let's play a little clip first, so that people who are not familiar know what we're talking about. I got too many tabs open again.
Wow, the WoW signal is from 1977, correct?
Yeah. Yes, where is it?
So who found this correlation? Was that Avi Loeb as well?
Yep. Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah. Of course, Avi. Okay.
Yeah,
so here we go. For the people who don't know, here's a short clip.
On August 15th, 1977, there was a very famous flare in the radio signal that was given the name the WOW signal, because the observers that recorded it at Ohio State University was stunned at how powerful this signal was. And I checked it. Turns out that it came from about the same direction in the sky as Three-Eye Atlas, within 9 degrees. And the chance for a random alignment of the two directions of 9 degrees or so is 0.6%. And there was no report on radio observations of Three-Eye Atlas so far. So I'm encouraging radio astronomers around the world to check out whether there is any radio transmission from Three-Eye Atlas.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I mean, it's cool, right? I mean, but it doesn't mean that they're not very advanced beings then if they're doing something with radio and, you know, using engines. It could be it could be a civilization that's just as advanced as ours, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they're flying a ship through space.
One more
Sorry,
thing.
Sid, go ahead.
I'm saying sky is so big. So, like when you say one direction, that direction is like infinitely long and big.
Right.
So even if it's coming from there, and he said it's like 9 degree. 9 degree in this infinitely big universe is a lot. So I don't.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like buy that. And wall
Good
signal is like whoa, but it's not like that. Whoa. to
Well,
me.
you know, but it matches the path, so the speed and the trajectory of Atlas, right? So it's not just the general direction, but it also matches the speed of the object that is being measured. So
that is a crazy
We have
thing.
blue beam, and they are just playing that because
True.
we have like last year when we were talking about blue beam a lot. This was the thing we were talking that they're gonna fake an alien invasion. Now it's happening, and then we are falling for it. Like, what's wrong with us? Like,
but okay,
like
so
we were talking about the same topic, and now we are believing the same thing coming from these government tools. Like,
Yeah,
I don't buy that.
right. Yeah, and he's a foreign agent. He's an intel agent.
Exactly.
He's a unit 8200 graduate. Those guys are well trained, you know, and they put them in positions like most of the internet companies are all unit 8200 guys, ex-graduates. You know, so they're very talented, but they're talented and they have an agenda, right? They have an agenda. So Avi has been very open to he's written Medium articles, he's done interviews about it. He believes their Messiah is coming from space. So we have to be very careful what he's pushing, right?
true, absolutely. But you know, he also presents facts, and this is simply a fact.
But
You
the
can
facts
check
he's
it.
presenting is not acceptable to a rational mind. Like he's saying there's something coming from same direction in the sky. That direction is infinitely big. And then he's saying 9 degree difference. 9 degrees is a lot. Like even in photography, when I'm taking a small objects, 9 degree makes a big difference. And it's like a limited frame we are talking about. When you are talking about infinitely big sky, it's a big difference. It's like could be two galaxies, the difference between two galaxies.
That's a good
Okay,
point.
but anyway, that's besides. I'm not disputing any of that. But there was something else that also happened in 1977. And we
Really?
actually also, actually a lot of stuff, because Dolan managed, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, but Dolan also in his security state books, the National Security State book, he also mentions that in the 70s, there was a huge increase in UFO activity. So a very sort of unexplainable amount of UFO activity.
So a flap.
Yeah, but through the entire 70s. So the 70s are unusual because of the amount of activity and the type of activity that he sort of recorded in his books.
Interesting.
And I think Travis Walton was abducted in 70s as well, right?
Yeah, late 70s was it? Yeah.
I think it was 70s.
So
Right.
I think I got it over here, by the way. But anyway, but there was something else in those times, and I want to play that now. And we actually also covered that. But there was another broadcast that happened in 1977, which was never resolved. And that is this one.
Of all captured prisoners of war.
Around the same time.
In Australia, Derek Baggett's cricketers are still keeping alive. Yesterday's high court decision, which didn't ban them playing a test match.
This is the voice of Freeman, representative of the Ashton Galactic, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights and sparrows. We speak to you now, kissing the skin as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth. We come to reveal the destiny of your race and your world so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid the disaster that threatens your world and the beings on other worlds around you. This is in order that you may share in great awakening as the planet passes into a new age of Aquarius. The new age can be found great peace and liberation in your race, but only your rulers are made to reinforce and connect through their dreams. Be still now, and for your chance may not come again. All your weapons of evil must be removed. The time for conflict is now past, and the race of which you are a part may proceed to the higher stages of its evolution, if you show yourselves worthy to do this. You have but a short time to learn to live together in peace and goodwill. Small groups all over the planet are learning this, and exist to pass on the light of the dawning new age to you all. You are free to accept the protective teachings of those who learn.
Many go as wide as this. Then they run out.
Spiritual evolution. Here now, the voice of Rilon, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. Be aware also that there are many false prophets and guides operating on your planet. They will suck your energy from you, the energy you call money, and will put into evil areas, giving you worthless costs in return. Your divine self, protect you from this. You must learn to be sensitive to the voice within, that can tell you what is true. Learn to listen to the voice of truth. Leave yourself. This is our message.
I really appreciate that we can I insist I believe that some really false ingredients. I can that's at 9 lives.
Keep on knowing yourself and just come out with the witness of your
your imagination.
Suppose you take on
I think, of course, his name is Vrilon, and it's always like Zoltar. Like they love the
And
V's
from
and the Z's.
Ashtar Galactic
Yeah, yeah.
Foundation.
Right, yeah, and
Is
that they
that-
talk about.
I've never seen that before. That is
No,
wild.
we covered it actually. We covered it.
Did we? Oh, jeez, that's embarrassing.
It was a long one, maybe like 50 episodes ago or something. And it is unresolved.
It is unresolved. Yeah, somebody claimed that he found who did it, and of course
Yeah.
you can do it, but they never found the perpetrator, and nobody came forward.
But
But
even
yeah.
if they didn't find it, the content of that is so obvious. It's like somebody watched He-Man and after that he created this message. I'm a skeleton.
I'm unsure on this one. I'm really unsure.
No,
on this.
okay. One thing we need to put in the perspective: there were many channel hacking. A lot of people were doing that. The same thing. At the
Yeah,
same
like the Max Headroom incident.
Yeah.
Max
Yeah.
Headroom. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like a very common thing, and it was before encryption, so anybody could easily hack with basic knowledge. So it wasn't a rocket science. And then if you're saying, and the content they were saying, you have to give up your weapon, it's like a very 1970s theme. At that
Yeah,
time, that
but-
was a big deal. So
True.
they are specifically talking about those things, and those weapons were not even dangerous. Right now, we have way more dangerous weapons, and we are doing more bloody stuff right now.
Now, look, Sid, that's not true because we had an 80-year cover-up and they had like superior, probably scalar weapons and UFOs flying around at that time that were reverse engineered, right? So we did have weapons that we were not aware of, but and
But nobody
Yeah,
was
correct.
using them. Now we are using deadly
we don't know.
weapons.
we
No,
don't
no,
know.
we
if
are
they-
using. We can see that right now. We have also like a mainstream history. When you use a weapon and you kill people, that become a news. There was no news that nobody was using
No,
those
but
weapons, right?
but for example, Herrera, the story about Michael Herrera who sees that UFO
Yeah.
take people in Indonesia in the early 2000s, and there were many abduction stories. Actually, I'm gonna play another abduction story in a little bit, but those stem from the 80s and the 90s. That also include like superior technologies and
No, I'm
engines.
not denying the UFO and alien existence. I believe that. I'm talking about this specific signal because this is very similar to every other hacking that was happening. And why would alien use like backdoor this shitty technology, which is like useless? It was like mainstream in 70s, but like if you're looking in the perspective, aliens are dumb if they were doing that because a kid
I don't
in
know.
the
I
house
mean,
can do that with one antenna.
I mean, if you want to hack, if you want to communicate with Earth in some way, then a television set is not such a bad idea to use to send a message out, right? And they
No,
did
but
send a message out.
television, those things are obsolete in our world. Just imagine that they have to be also if they are so far away, which they were at that time. If you're because you have to consider the distance. If they're tracking it from that far away, it years to reach the signal. So they are planning it in advance and reaching it at this specific time. That doesn't make sense.
Anyway, I
Yeah.
think the message that they brought is very interesting, right? I mean,
No, it is interesting, but I'm
but
just
yeah,
saying.
okay, but
Yeah.
let me. So they're against weapons. So they're sort of saying disarmament, peace, brotherhood, take care of the planet, and they also predict that money will be an issue in the future and that we will get worthless draws in return. And especially that part I found very interesting because that's where we are right now, right? Money is
Bible
literally-
predicted that 2000 years ago. So
Well, yeah.
anybody could predict that money is going to be an issue.
Especially in the 70s, right? Because I think 71 is when we coupled from gold.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so
No, but it is an interesting one. Here it is. It was even on Wikipedia. They cover what is it? The broadcast became a footnote in ufology as some chose to accept the supposed alien broadcast at face value, questioning the explanation of a transmitter hijack, Within 2 days of the incident's report in the London Times, a letter to the editor published on 30 November 1977 asked, quote, "How can the IBA or anyone else be sure that the broadcast was a hoax?" The editorial board of one American regional newspaper, the Eugene, Oregon Register Guard, commented, "Nobody seemed to consider that Asteron may have been for real, or that what he said made a great deal of sense. By as early as 1985, the story had entered urban folklore with suggestions that there had never been any explanation of the broadcast." But I mean, of course, IBA did say it was a hoax, confirming it was the first time such a hoax transmission has been made.
Yeah, but
So-
of course that's also what you would say.
Yeah,
That would I also say if it would happen to me, right?
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I mean, look, aliens have done this. We covered even there's some pilots was in Mexico or Peru, Topher, I don't know, but remember he got taken over. His mind got taken over while he was flying, and then the aliens used him for the message, and he started talking to the FAA, giving them the message, and then he woke up all of a sudden in the middle of the ocean, and he was like, "What the hell happened?"
And that message, can you remember what he said? Or
it was the same. It was the same.
Yeah.
To disarm, you need to stop bombing each other. You need to, stuff like that.
So, and we actually sort of covered this one before. And, one of the things that I noticed was like you got the flower power movement, which was, of course, closely connected to psychedelics. And,
Yes, it was.
And psychedelics are closely connected to UFOs. And all those people who were taking those drugs and were part of the flower power movement, what did they say? No nuclear weapons, peace, disarmament, take care of the planet. And also, like, money is, it's an issue. Like, material things are an issue. So there's like, and plus you got a lot of UFO cults that erupted onto the scene also in the 70s, around the same time, which also all have similar themes connected to their religion. So
yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of overlap.
I mean, here's an argument for nuclear weapons. What if it brought on humans? What if it brought them on par with these overlords, right? That have been managing Earth and humanity. What if, when we started doing that, we could actually do something to them? And maybe that's why then their message is, disarm.
Yeah.
Get rid of your nuclear weapons.
I'm not saying that we should believe them and follow them. Like what Chuck Vallée said with in Messages of Deception, right? There's three things that they keep sort of saying is like, people should give up their self-agency because the aliens are coming. So it doesn't matter what we do; they'll do it better, and we can trust me, bro.
Right.
And you got a sort of racial superiority, right? Because we're humans and they're superior to us, and also some human beings will be superior to other human beings because they're receiving these messages from them. So you got a sort of new racism that's being promoted.
Yeah.
And what was the third one? And a sort of utopian communist ideal that they present, like that the new world will be better and will be rebuilt on the ashes of the old world. So
interesting. That sounds like the Messianic era, right? I just saw a clip of a rabbi saying that in the future there will be no anti-Semitism because people won't even be allowed to think about it. Like, so that sounds like implants and neural links inside of us. I wouldn't push it if society. I mean, if we look at COVID, what happened then? Who says that down the line they're not going to try something else? For a utopian society, we must control the thoughts of people because it is dangerous and a national security threat to have rebellious thoughts or racist thoughts or whatever they might justify this for.
And
so
it's also interesting because most governments, especially the Canadian government, has a special unit on it. But most governments keep a close track of UFO cults and religions, right? They keep close track of what they're. And I wouldn't be surprised if they also infiltrate these groups. Like the Scientology has close connections to the U.S. government, but so the Scientology has actually infiltrated the U.S. government to some degree.
Yes, it has.
And you can also say that Mormonism is also a form of UFO cult, right? Because Joseph Smith had like a contact. So, and they're also closely tied to the government. But one of the things that Jack Vallée warns about is that, or one of the reasons that they're probably closely tracking these cults is sort of when this revelation or this disruption of society happens, then these cults will suddenly come into the main
Oh yeah.
message believed by many proof that they are right.
Right.
So they will get a lot of new adherents and converts, and that's why they have to be controlled and monitored and managed.
Interesting. Even the Nation of Islam is a UFO cult.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got a list here.
Yeah, I wonder.
Regarding those atomic things, I have this theory. It's not like people think that because we have developed those weapons and they are afraid of that. I don't think they are afraid of it, and I
No.
think these aliens are interdimensional beings, and we know that
Yes.
nuclear bombs are dealing with
Yeah.
quantum physics, and we don't
Right.
understand quantum physics. So I think whenever we do the experiment, I think it affects the vibrations of their
Yeah.
world or their dimension, and that's what is interrupting the whole fabric, and that's why they are coming and telling us not to do that. But I don't think they
Right.
are afraid, but it's like we are unintentionally affecting their world.
Yeah, no,
Right,
absolutely.
or even unintentionally affecting the experiment. You know, if they're trying to hide
Yeah.
behind some quantum thing or some realm, it might just undo that. You know,
Exactly.
and
Yeah, no, that's also my take. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
in the movie They Live, there's like a signal from the TV station broadcasting, and the guy wanted to destroy that. And the moment that signal is destroyed, everything became clear, and everybody could see the aliens among them. I
That
think
movie was so good.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite movies. But like the
Yeah.
concept is so good that they are testing something and they are broadcasting their signals to keep the people stupid, and that's how
Yeah.
the things
I
are.
mean, David Icke did something similar, right? He called it the
Yes.
Moon Saturn matrix, where Saturn is projecting, he's saying, this 3D reality onto Earth and humanity through the moon as well. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah.
And you know, with Halloween, because this is sort of a Halloween special, and we also mentioned it yesterday, but you know, during Halloween, it was believed from the Gaelic, Celtic communities that lived all over Europe and beyond, that the veil between this world and other
Yes.
dimensions is that it's finished, right? So, and these beliefs, they go back to Neolithic times, probably.
Yes, Sam. Yeah, you called the show Sam. It's not Samhain. It's pronounced Samhain, right?
Yeah, and it means after summer. It's like it's basically a festival where you celebrate the end of the harvest and sort of the beginning of the winter, and it's a sort of a death and rebirth celebration, and you put out food for wandering spirits that they can, and you sort of put bonfires so that the good spirits can come home and visit you, the dead, the deceased, and you ward off the evil spirits that are also sort of coming when the veil thins.
Yeah, but there are multiple different stories regarding Samhains, because there is one thing that they put those pumpkins, because I think they didn't even have pumpkins because pumpkin is
True.
American. They used to have
Right.
like some other fruit or other vegetable,
Yeah.
and they used to keep that at their doorstep to scare the bad spirits. So when
Yeah.
you have that, so they don't want the bad spirits to come in, and also to bribe them, they used to put sweet dishes outside their homes.
But it's
Yeah, it was a
that's-
bribe, so though they don't affect them for the rest of the year. So that was like that's one of the origin of the Halloween.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is a short clip that ties directly into what we were just talking about.
There are three possible theories that I'm sort of thinking of. Number one, the benevolent protector theory. They are here because they don't want us to destroy ourselves. They see these crazy death weapons and they're just like, we have to monitor this shit. Like, we can't have this race wipe itself out or whatever. Number two, they are somehow affected by the electromagnetic fallout from the nuclear weapon. Maybe gamma radiation or EMP effects from nuclear explosions mess with their flight paths and pop them into our visible dimension. They might be in some bizarre interior interdimensional fabric of reality, and then the nukes go off, and then they're somehow popped into our reality.
Yeah.
Number 3, we are in a low-level time-based dimension that they have broken out of. With that energy output, you can basically start creating little black holes at will. Maybe sheer energy output has something to do with our ability to break out. And maybe they don't want us to break out. Or on a moral or ethical level, they just don't think we're civilized enough yet.
Yeah, theories. What do you think?
I guess they're
Yeah. Yep. All true. Agreed. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's spot
Yeah.
on. He's spot on with that. There was
Yeah.
a
Love it.
there was a researcher in South Africa, Kathy, and he wrote 2 books about this where he identified where these UFOs go. There's like not ley lines, but it's sort of like ley lines that they follow these, but also that's where nuclear weapons are detonated. They have to be detonated in certain areas on the Earth. And the sun's angle is also like he said you cannot blow up a nuke successfully without the sun being at some specific angle on that location on Earth, something like that. And he said that it was messing with these UFOs with their navigational technology that they use.
Yeah, and what Sid says, the nuclear technology also ties into plasma research, right? And the
Yes.
plasma electric
Yep.
universe theory.
Yes.
And you actually have plasma beings, like these plasma orbs or ball lightning are probably also intelligent to some degree because they can move around and float against the wind and change directions. And the whole and we know that the Naval Office of Intelligence, they have been developing these plasma weapons for quite some time, as has been reported.
Yes, they have. Right, and I think that's what they're like with Iran. I don't think the problem with Iran is having a nuclear weapon. It's the nuclear research in general, because they can figure out propulsion, they can figure out energies, free energies, and that's what they don't want them to have. I don't think it's about nukes.
No,
Yeah.
definitely.
Or they are not also making the nukes. Also,
Right,
even
they're
if
not.
they make it, they cannot use it. Nobody can. So
Right.
it's not about this. Exactly about the research. Also,
Yeah.
that's the last resistance, right? If Iran is gone, then the whole Arab is like open
Right.
open field for
Exactly.
you know who.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're trying to beat Iran into compliance.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, it's such an ancient civilization. I don't know if it's going to have to end up. It might end up in a nuclear war, for it to work.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's the
difficult.
only surviving civilization, because all of those like Greeks, Romans, they all decimated.
They're gone.
Persian
Yeah.
survived as they
Yeah.
used to be, like exactly the
Yep.
same culture. They modified it, but that's not the point. The point is like that Persian culture is still alive.
Yep. Agreed. It is, and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's full of. It's very diverse. It has Jews, it has Christians, and it has Muslims. Right.
Yeah.
And
Also, even after so many sanctions, that's the only country could have survived because they have like 3,000 years of history. No other country, because look at Venezuela, it's destroyed because of the sanctions.
no.
But Iran
Yeah.
is thriving. So
Well,
what they did,
China,
they start making their own stuff, and they're more dangerous now because of those sanctions, because they are not
Yeah.
reliant on any other country.
Agreed. And these sanctions just destroy the dollar anyway. I don't understand why they would do that. Like, why would you take a universal reserve currency and weaponize it unless you want to destroy it? It makes no sense.
It's sort of, you see it happening in speed up mode within crypto. With basically crypto is one giant money experiment, and you see many bad cryptos eventually implode, and that was sort of baked into the cake with the dollar, right? That was Triffin's dilemma, which was sort of formulated in the 70s by the economist Triffin. He said, like, if we go down this route, the dollar will at some point implode, right? Because in order to finance the growth or globalization of the world, which America did after World War II, it means that you're exporting all your productivity abroad. And that destroyed its industrial base, right? I mean, that's what Trump is trying to reverse.
Like the whole financial system is like a funny system. It's not gonna work, so they have to destroy it. Otherwise, it will destroy the whole world.
Yeah, it would automatically implode, like anyway.
Yeah.
So why not weaponize it at the end?
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
siphon
Let's
off
do
as
a
much
controlled demolition like Building 7.
Exactly. It's a controlled demolition of the dollar.
Yeah, it's also there's siphoning of all the wealth, and all the wealth is actually energy. It's our energy that we put. It's our productivity that they're sucking away. That's money, right? It's your energy and time that is being sucked away and put to use somewhere else. And that's also why it really ties into what Brillan was talking about, right? So the energy is being sucked away through money, and we get worthless draws in return. So yeah, so, then you can just weaponize it anyway, right? Beat everybody in submission, and for a while America still had the biggest military. Now China has the biggest military, or at least not the biggest, but the most efficient.
But see, that's what's so weird about China too. I mean, the rise of China can also be tracked to the same oligarchs right here that just shipped off jobs over to China, transferred technology to China, and China is where it is today largely because of that. Right? So they knew what they were doing. It's almost like they wanted to also destroy this empire at the same time with destroying the dollar.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, right? Because America, at some level, is fighting for its existence, and China is rising power, and Wall Street has been financing China, profiting from it. And it's unclear if Wall Street was too stupid and greedy and blinded by the money and the wealth that they could generate, and were being used by the Chinese government with a 100-year plan, or that they were actually knowing what they were doing and transferring power from one place to another place. And because China's modality of, basically a dictatorship, right?
Yep.
A totalitarian dictatorship is the next move.
Yeah.
So the American empire is of no use anymore, because at first you needed human beings, like human capital, to generate all the wealth and the productivity. But now we're moving to a spot where we don't need human beings anymore in that capacity. And then a totalitarian regime would be like the logical next stage of evolution.
Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of truth in that, right? They create a system of to maximize human freedom, to attract that human capital, to give it the freedom to thrive and innovate. And then once they had all the technology they needed, they're like, all right, yeah, it's exactly. Now let's go to the communist
also
route.
They can do a test run with the Trump's third term, because that is a possibility to test the waters, because because Trump is already a crazy man in front of a lot of people's eyes. So and I know that he's a tool again. He's doing what he's being told. So he could try to do the third term and see how people react, and then they can plan accordingly, like they did with the COVID-19 vaccines and everything. That was also a test.
Yeah, it was under him too.
And you also have sort of game theory going on, right? Because for the Western countries to keep up, if insofar as it is not planned, but it's organic, Western countries would have to become like China in order to keep up with China, right? So there's this game theory element, like with Bitcoin, right? If one country adopts Bitcoin, then other countries automatically also have to adopt it in order to keep up, right? So there's this game theory element that pushes everybody when it comes to China and AI into the wrong direction.
I mean, Sergey Brin, the co-founder of Google, he was on the National Security Council, and I think, or AI Council, something like that for the government. And he was arguing that China is going to beat us in AI because they don't have privacy laws. Right? They don't have privacy laws. They spy on everyone, so they have more data. And because they have more data, they can have better AI, and they're going to win. And that was the argument also, is that we are at a disadvantage because we are a free country.
To some degree.
Yeah.
Hey, Brillan is interrupting.
Yeah.
So I'll play this short clip. It's really short.
it the kind of benevolent protector theory? They don't want us to destroy ourselves? Or is it some weird, like they're mining us for something and so they want to protect their resources? Or is it the power unlock thing where we could rip space-time and maybe be able to travel like they can travel?
Yeah.
And so nuclear power is the axis along which we're making progress towards that.
Yeah, I mean, it might be as simple as like it's an attractant, like a fly to a blue light, right? It could be something as simple as that. I mean, it's so hard because to put yourself in a different sentient shoes to understand intent and all that. I mean, could be probing, could be reconnaissance, could be just mere curiosity. Yes, oh, they're only, 2 or 3 orders of magnitude away, energy extraction from, manipulating space-time and an occubear warp drive type thing, and maybe they're interested in that too to understand our development as a civilization. I mean, without having a penetration into their OODA loop or whatever, we'll never really know.
Yeah.
It could be all of the above. It's really impossible to really ever gauge intent.
Yeah, Topher says all the time, it's really hard. They're aliens, for us to like put a human intent there. It's very difficult.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we view everything, we're humans, right? We've got human brains. We view everything through a human lens. And so even when we try and attribute that to aliens, we still go, oh, are they conquerors? Are they saving us? Or are they whatever? Because that's all human stuff.
Right.
Yes.
And the conquering might be saving us. It might be saving us in their eyes, But I mean, if we're part of this, if we are part of a larger system that we contribute to in some manner, it would make sense that they protect us if we're part of it. If we're a resource of some kind.
And also, when you look at how some parents treat their children, especially when they're young, it's sometimes you're glad that you're
not even out of love. Maybe it's just a weird experiment they're running and they just want to control us to see something. We could be simulation, and there's like a lot of evidence for it that we are living in a simulation. So
maybe they're not even interested in us, but maybe something that we have, right? But maybe we are carriers of some kind of
also there is like that theory is also very prominent, that we are just the vessels for the souls, and they are just protecting this world to experience, like to make our souls to get an experience in this world,
right?
And that's what
exactly for something else.
And I think Bob Lazar also said that we are just the containers.
Yeah, that's what he said. When he was reading he said there was a lot about religion, and that he said that we are viewed as containers.
Yes.
I mean, there could be something where also the ruling class and elite have figured out we're in the simulation that we, humanity is, or this world is, and that they want to create their own simulation with this whole transhumanist thing, right? With the Internet of Bodies, with all of humanity connected, but who's sitting at the top of that? It's going to be this ruling elite and ruling class. So it could be just layers of these simulations also going on.
And I got one more for. I got a lot of clips. I always have a lot of clips. Too many.
Is this Jesse too? Jesse's great, and what I love about Jesse is that when he reads something, it's memorized for life, and he can access it in seconds.
True. He has a great archive. Also, it's easy to find things.
Yeah.
So right now, you don't have a brain.
Excuse me.
And nor do I.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I don't have a brain and you don't have a brain until we actually look inside and render a brain. Just like in VR, the Mustang doesn't exist until you look at it and render it. So if I can predict that if we do the right scans, we will see a brain. But that only exists when we do the rendering. So I don't have a brain. All these correlations, we know that correlation doesn't imply causation. Right. So the fact that there is correlations, and I don't deny it. In fact, I'm all for studying these correlations between brain activity and conscious experiences. They exist, they're undeniable, and they don't in any way remotely entail that the brain causes our conscious experiences.
So I'm not the brain. I'm the thing that's simulating the presence of a brain.
That's right. So right now, you don't have a brain.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry. By the way, I actually wanted to play this one, but they look a lot alike. But
I mean, people are saying consciousness is non-local as well, right? That's not really. It's not in the brain. It's like our brain is an antenna. DNA acts as an antenna as well. So there's something else projecting this image.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
called like it's also a scientific theory called holographic universe. We are just a
Yes.
projection of that's not just like a cookie one, that's like an actual scientific theory.
Yeah.
well, this
Holographic
ties
universe.
into what you just said.
Interesting question, because we've been thinking about the brain for a long time, and the brain is this and the brain is that. And it used to be thought of hundreds of years ago of that's just to keep your head warm, because they don't know what the brain is and what's going on up there. But it's something that, over the past 50, 100 years has become the answer to everything. If it's this, it's in the brain. You have to fix this part of the brain right here. That's what's wrong with it. And so him asking this question is a reasonable one, given the education we have now. I'm not so sure that 50 years from now, that will be much of a question, because it seems that all these things that people do, whether it's remote viewing or whatever they call it, seems to have something to do with quantum non-locality, or the everywhere, every when of all information.
What did you call it first? The quantum?
Quantum non-locality is a technical term for it, but they had to invent that 60 years ago because they didn't know what was going on. There's lots of science on saying that there's no space and there's no time. And these people, we'll just call them remote viewers because it's a good thing to use as a name. Not that I like it so much, but that's okay. Everybody calls it remote viewing.
What do you call it?
I attempt to list out several different things. Are you psychic? Is that the word that one should use? It's a word that people toss around a lot. Are you clairvoyant? Are those words that you toss and pass around? But Ingo Swann kind of coined the word remote viewing because when he went to work with Stanford Research Institute, they didn't want to say, well, we're training psychics here. No, let's just call it, remote viewing. That would probably be better, which I've gotten sidetracked in talking a lot here, but it's not really remote viewing because there's nothing that's remote. Everything is all one thing. That's the quantum non-locality. So these people that are doing the remote viewing have the ability to perceive everywhere and every when.
Yeah. Yep. And consciousness is based reality. We're coming to understand this, that consciousness is everywhere, right? And some people can just access it. I guess not. He said remotely, but yeah. What's his name? Even the Skunk Works, Ben Rich, when he was giving, right? He said something like that when someone asked him, like, well, how can we travel to the stars? And the guy asked, and he said, what is it, like psi abilities? He's like, yep, that's what it is. He's like, you think to go there and you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's also how, there's a lot of theories out there about how UFOs, travel. It's the beings inside use their minds to move the craft.
Yes. All right. They're connected to it somehow.
Also regarding consciousness, this is from my psychedelic world, that it's not like multiple consciousness. There's one big giant conscious, and then I think it separates the drops of it and create us to get different experiences. But eventually we go and we started from the same place, from one big consciousness, and then we go and merge with it. This is what I experience. It's not like a theory. I don't know who wrote that, but I actually saw. And I call it like an ocean of light. It's like a big light. It's not wet. It's just light. And I was like a drop to it. It was just a tiny speck of light. And then I came from there and just went back.
But that's a very ancient idea, and it's like, covered in many religious traditions and philosophies. It's
and I never read those things when I experienced it. So it's like I was really stupid. I never read anything when I was having those experiences. I read all those things after. So it was like just a new experience for me, and I was like shocked because my vision was like more like traditional religious one, where everything is like God created separate souls and everything. And then when I experienced that, that was new, and I was shocked. So, and that's like it's so real for me, and it's just
Fascinating.
one consciousness, and that's not even a God. I think that consciousness was also created by a supreme being,
Hmm.
and nobody has seen it. Even that consciousness was trying to figure out who is the God.
And
That was like the glimpse I got.
I got a real nice clip that ties into exactly what you just said.
Nice.
Experiment on
Perfect.
patients showed they're both hemispheres having conflicting likes and dislikes, emotions, career goals, and even theological beliefs. With one patient having a pious left hemisphere believes in God and right hemisphere, which did not.
Huh.
These experiments led Sperry to earn a share of Nobel Prize in 1981 and opened a deluge of deep existential questions. What are we if our beliefs, desires, personalities, and even destinies of our souls can be split with a scalpel? Why are we conscious? What is human consciousness? Similar
So wait, so separate hemispheres had different beliefs?
Yes, yeah. So these are very famous experiments, and I
Yeah.
read the book from Ian McGilchrist, The Master and His Emissary, which is a seminal work. It's really amazing. If you ever have the time to read 500 pages, very tiny letters, it's a really amazing book. But in that book, he sort of uses it's about the right and the left brain hemisphere and how they are sort of operating in a different way, focusing on different things. But with these tests that they did, they can now do it with magnets, turning off certain areas of the brain. That you can actually create a different personality, which sort of emerges if you switches off one or the other hemisphere. But what I sort of took away from that is if they are working together, you're one person, right? You don't feel like you're two people. They are merged without seamlessly into one being. And why not say that all your cells that make up your body, and perhaps also that field around you, is also conscious, but it's at a lower level, and together they form a consciousness that feels seamless and is one thing. And what now? Imagine if we all together also are one consciousness,
right?
It is separate in separate bodies and is not aware of itself at a higher consciousness, because it's not operating at that level. But the consciousness that's made up of us is, of course, conscious, but doesn't know that it is made up of us, right? Or maybe it does. But you can sort of make this sort of turtle stacking of consciousness on consciousness on consciousness that is experiencing itself on every level, and together forms another consciousness on another level. So that's my takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it goes against an argument for individuality, right? Because you're right, we have trillions of cells inside of us of different, it looks like independent agents, but they're all working together, creating us and our consciousness, right? If one of them goes rogue, we call that a cancer or a cancer cell, right? So is that an argument against individualism and individual and free thought? I mean, if we're individual agents, is that bad for the bigger consciousness?
Well, with complexity theory, right? Complexity theory consists on a couple of levels, but one of the levels that where you get sort of emergent properties. In order to get those, you have to have individual agents, autonomous individual agents that are acting, in their own self-interest.
Yeah.
And together, by doing that, and there's a couple of other components, then you get these emergent properties. And the way I always say, you have collectivism, that's like a group of people that are basically thinking the same. But you can also have a group of individuals that are working together, to achieve a goal. Right? So you can have a group consisting of people who are being dominated and ruled from above, or you can have also a group that is working together from the grounds up. So those are both groups.
Yeah, and so I guess maybe you can have then the illusion of choice, right? At least that's enough for, I guess, freedom of thought or agency, free agency. It could be an illusion.
I think I think sort of what the cosmos or nature wants is us to be experiencing, like what Sid just said, that we experience, that we have as many experiences as possible and interact with each other to enrich those experiences at that level that we operate in. But we can actually operate without even knowing it at higher levels.
Right.
But those higher levels profit from us operating most efficiently on our level by gaining those individual experiences, right? Because if you're like, imagine if you're the Borg, like in Star Trek or whatever. So basically what that means is that there's no barrier between your experiences and those of every other unit or individual in that colony, so to speak. And that means that every person in that colony cannot have its own unique experiences. Basically, they're all having one experience together.
Yeah.
So they're pretty poor.
Right. I mean, some people say Greys feel like a hive mind where they can't make individual experiences. Sorry.
Yeah, and you have the one of the theories of those one of the alien theories is that they come back to harvest sort of our DNA because it's not yet contaminated, because we are not yet the Borg, right? So they have to use us in order to what you call it? I am struggling for English words, but to revive their own
revive, yeah.
Or
that makes sense too. If we go down that route where everything becomes technological and connected to some AI, we want to bring back natural genes and natural DNA. We would have a locked down planet maybe with a natural world.
Yeah, and that's normally also why sort of totalitarian systems break down, right? What we talked about last time is because of the left hemisphere, so to speak, wants complete control and to manipulate everything because it doesn't like things running out of control. But if it succeeds in doing that, it basically destroys itself, right? Because it actually needs experiences, and so it actually needs something that it cannot control, but it wants it.
Yeah, that's why they created Amish people who never take part in technology. So there will always be people who won't be a part of a hive mind.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Humans that don't take vaccines, that build their own houses and churches and don't have cars or phones or I mean, exactly. We can always go back to them.
But there's always this tension between the left and the right hemisphere, right? Because their goals are different. And basically it's the tension that is healthy and good. But because it's the tension, it wants to relieve itself of the tension, right? So you constantly have this struggle of the relief of, you can even say with Freud, right? With the pleasure principle. So the pleasure principle of Freud is actually that it wants to remove all obstacles so that it can have pleasure for eternity, right? So that's basically what the pleasure principle is trying to achieve, is to remove all obstacles. But once it achieves it, it becomes miserable.
That totally tracks.
Yep.
Yeah, that totally tracks.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that, and we have even something that's happening now currently with AI and writing articles online, is that more and more people are using AI to write stuff instead of humans, and the AI was learning all the information that's learned from humans, but now it's going to be learning from just regurgitated slop from AI, and it's declining.
Yep.
Yes.
So it's something very similar.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was trying to make a point about left and right brain. There's like a religious concept that there's like a Satan on your left side and an angel on the right side. That is also, I think, symbolizing left and right brain. One is saying something, another is saying something, and you are the one who have to make that right choice.
Right. Yes. Yeah. But who's that one? Do you guys know this? He was a philosopher. His name is Krishnamurti. He came out, I think, in his 60s, maybe. But it was this documentary that promoted him, that made him famous. But he was always talking about the observer. Like, who is the observer? So forget the thoughts. Who's observing the thoughts, right? And that is the real you, not the thoughts, not your thinking, but the one who's observing that.
They also did some really cool experiments with memory, right? Because if you try to remember yourself in the past, you don't think of yourself from the first person. You always look at yourself from the third person, even though you were living it, like, in the first person. So, like, how come our memories are reconstructed in that way?
Interesting. So even that is an observer thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is very interesting.
So, but this is also very interesting. I want to play this clip.
All of this that I'm seeing right now is just a virtual reality. It's like you're born with a headset on playing a video game. That's your reality. But if you're the programmer who wrote the code for the game, you know that there's an entire world outside of it, and as the programmer, you can do miracles.
And do you think we're getting closer to being able to edit the code?
That's exactly what I'm working on right now. And we're opening up a realm of new technologies that are far more powerful than anything we've seen before, like time travel. And nuclear bombs will be like firecrackers.
Will people suffer?
So it's like Pandora's box. There's all sorts of nasty surprises, but they also could be miraculous. But either way, just in the last few months, it started to crack open.
So let's talk about that.
Okay, so
Professor Donald Hoffman is the cognitive scientist pushing the boundaries of how we perceive reality
and how we can unlock our full potential as human beings.
according to Darwin's theory, our sensory systems, eyes, ears, smell, touch, are not shaped to show us the truth. They were shaped to keep you alive long enough to reproduce successfully. Because seeing the truth takes too much time and energy. And so whatever reality is, it's utterly unlike anything that I perceive.
But what does this all mean for the nature of how one should understand their life?
Well, if you're stuck in a boring world, that's a world of your own creation. That's not the real world. And my conscious experiences are nothing but what my brain creates. And so we feel inadequate, and we feel like we need to compete with other people. But you're the inventor of this whole thing. You have nothing to prove. And there are much more interesting perspectives that we can take on ourselves.
Nice. Hoffman's pretty cool. He's out of here in Southern California.
Wow, cool. I would love to have this autograph. To be honest,
I think UCI. Yeah, he's not. What is he? I know he's not something in the field of consciousness, right? He's something else.
He has actually he has a background in computer science and in perceptual studies.
Okay, yeah. I mean, computer science makes people think like that, you know, because if you're look what computer science has brought us, right? A completely digitized world.
Yeah.
And a powerful one.
Isn't it great?
Yeah. You guys heard about of Claude Shannon?
No.
No.
Maybe you have. He is the one who coined information theory in the 1940s, and his work was classified. And guess who he worked under? He worked under Vannevar Bush.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the guy, the Majestic 12 guy, scientist.
Yeah.
Yep, and he's the one who coined the information theory, and that basically he came up with the way how information is goes across from point to point using digital means like fiber or whatever or electricity.
Well, and then Jacques Vallée was, of course, also one of the inventors of the internet, the ARPANET.
That's right. Yes,
also information scientist.
So it comes from this world of studying reality in a different way. So they know that reality is information. It's all information.
Absolutely.
And then how to, I guess, interpret it. And what Kaufman said, so we've been evolved to interpret a certain amount of information, sight, touch, taste, just so we can survive.
I can show something and read it for you guys. This is about sort of Hoffman's work, sort of the stuff that he did.
Is he into UFOs or UAPs?
I wouldn't be surprised by now, because if his own theory sort of suggests that everything that we see is only real to some degree, then it wouldn't be so difficult to explain UFOs from his perspective, right? Because that would just be different consciousness interacting with us at some other level of being, right? So I think I like his framework very much. In virtual worlds, Hoffman and colleagues simulated organisms with genomes encoding perceptual strategies, seeing literal distances versus fitness icons like unsafe, safe. Over generations, veridical perceivers consistently went extinct within 30 to 50 cycles, outcompeted by simpler fitness-focused ones, even in simple 2D environments with linear fitness functions. This shows evolution selects for icons or things that are not real, red apple signaling calories over truth, as accurate but complex perceptions slow life or death decisions down. A 2023 update extended this to 3D quantum-like worlds, reinforcing the results. So basically, everybody who can see the truth keeps dying.
Yeah, what is that? The allegory of the cave kind of thing, right? Where someone who perceives the truth comes back and tells people the truth and they end up killing him.
Yeah, and you see it also with whistleblowers, right? Everybody who tells
Yeah.
the truth also keeps dying.
So it's like we live in a reality where truth is classified.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I'm trying. I think there was another really cool thing. Let's see if I can find it.
Is this all Hoffman stuff? Or
No,
you
it's also other
Oh,
stuff.
okay. The Grok is
anyway.
pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't find it. Doesn't matter. Too much text.
No, all good. I mean, I always sit there and try to get more information from AI when I have some epiphany, because it can help you connect dots. That's for sure.
Yes,
Definitely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Also, it's if you find the right information.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like if
right.
like there is some information is like hidden in some book, you can ask it like find me this
Right.
information from those books, and they will find it if it exists online.
I think I found it, by the way.
Okay.
I'm so opposed. I straight up don't use it. I'll suffer the consequences of having to look something up, or write an email without using it. But I myself cannot bring myself to use AI.
I mean, it's nice. It's nice in a way because it uses, especially if you can go back and forth with it. Just don't take everything it says as the truth always.
Yeah.
But if you want to dig deeper into something and then use, because it'll use what you tell it, and then you can use what it tells you, and then at some point you do come up with a good result. But yeah, if you just ask it a question, it's never really good. At least in my experience.
It usually helps if you already know the subject or the topic that you're asking about, because then you can sort of correct it.
Also, ask for the reference, like where you're getting this information from. Like, if you're getting it from a specific book, give me the page number of that
Absolutely.
book, so I can go
in case it makes it up.
Yes.
Right.
So you can go and verify the information.
Okay, but I got it. It's this one. So perceptual illusions and constructs. Everyday vision provides perceptions are everyday vision proves perceptions are user-friendly fictions. For example, the checker shadow illusion, Edelson 1995, makes us see unequal grays as equal due to context, prioritizing assumed lighting for object recognition, not pixel truth. Color vision evolved for ripeness foraging cues, not wavelengths. Bananas appear yellow in shadows via color constancy, a useful hack ignoring physics. Hoffman cites decades of psychophysics showing 70 to 80% of visual processing is top-down inference, not bottom-up reporting.
Wow, that's huge.
Yep.
So we evolved basically to take shortcuts, which makes sense, right?
Yep.
If it's for survival, you want to take the shortcuts to survive. But then, what is survival? They're saying survival is ignorance of the truth.
Yeah.
Or we were designed that way.
Yes, or we were designed that way. But it seems like everything is designed that way. Like we were talking about the trillions of cells in us. If they knew the truth that they're living in someone else's body, that they're not, carrying out their own tasks, it becomes problematic.
Yeah. Yes.
So maybe it's just innate in this reality that we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we live in a reality that is based on scarcity, right? So basically, evolution can only work, or it's Darwin sort of based it on a scarcity model, right? So what happens when you have abundance of resources or things in general, right? And in philosophy and religion, the duality between this world and the spiritual world is one of the things that that separates the two. Is that this world is dominated or defined by scarcity, but the spiritual world is defined by abundance, right? So and then that's also what consciousness is, right? It's sort of an infinity.
I mean, yeah, but is it scarce? I mean, or are we told everything is scarce, right?
Yeah, maybe this world is also abundant.
Yeah. I mean, just say. I mean, if the universe is as big as we are told, and we can see, right? I mean, I've had many telescopes in my life, and I see the infiniteness of it. But I don't know if if it really is that many galaxies as well. That's just insane abundance, right? There really is no scarcity.
But one thing I see, I actually have a lot of telescopes as well. Whenever I look at the universe and other planets, they look like they are not rendered properly. It's just like a pixelated version of a planet is
Yeah, you
there,
mean
and I
like
can
some stars? Yeah, like some
Yeah.
stars. You mean like change colors, like they're in water or something?
Yeah, but like they don't look like properly rendered. That makes me think that we are in a simulation, and then when we observe it, creates something, but that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, you're right, man. Maybe our telescopes aren't strong enough, but like planets, you can see planets normally, right? They're rendered normally, but
Yeah,
you're
but they're
correct.
very
With
close, right?
far stars, yeah, they just look like this
But
light
to be
in
honest,
water.
but even if you look, even Jupiter from a regular telescope, I'm not talking about like high powered, but a regular telescope, it just looked like a black background, nothing else there. Somehow all the star disappears, and you just see a planet which is
And you
not
just see the
properly
planet.
rendered, exactly staying like that. That spot is there for like 300 years for some reason on
Yeah,
Jupiter.
Saturn. I mean, Saturn is crazy in a telescope. I mean, you just like you look at there, like, how can I see all those rings? I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, I know what you're saying. I haven't gone to an observatory. Those will
Oh, yeah.
likely render correctly. Correct, right? I mean, those are huge.
Yeah, are they? But like we don't know, right? We are not observing it. So
Nope.
and
Exactly. Yeah. We don't know.
So you guys
also,
want to
the
know?
funny enough, like we don't have actual pictures of that. Like we, even if you go and search the photos of like other planets, real photo, they don't look real from those telescopes. So either those telescopes are also generating similar image, or they're not publishing it because nobody want to observe that. It's just so weird.
Oh, speaking of that, did you guys see the Swedish what's her name?
Beatrice?
Yes, Beatrice. Yeah, I mean, it was peer reviewed, her
Yeah.
research, and we've covered it before, I'm sure, on both of our shows. But now it's peer reviewed. These
Yep.
transients that she saw on astronomical plates in the 1950s, before Sputnik was, and they correlated it with nuclear tests that these transients would show up in our upper atmosphere. And then she submitted it to another institution that denied it, saying that we don't have an interest in it.
Seriously?
Yeah. They even take papers that haven't been peer reviewed, and hers was peer reviewed, and they denied it.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I think they have a very hard case, by not accepting it, right? Because I think her data is very compelling and it's very scientific, and this was pre the time that we put stuff into the in space.
Yeah, exactly. It was pre-Sputnik.
Yeah. So how can you sort of deny
I mean,
what you found?
they're trying to debunk it. They're trying to say that it's defects, but they went through that already in her paper. That they got rid of the defects, and she was showing that if it was a defect, it would have also shown up in the umbra of the Earth, right, in the shadow.
Yeah.
And these defects didn't show up in the shadow, only in the sun side, which reflected them.
Yeah.
This is a short clip over Beatrice.
Oh, nice.
You have all these stars in the skies, you have galaxies, but some things change their luminosity, and sometimes they change it on a short time. And in our case, we saw things that appeared and vanished within half an hour. So in order to select a star or something like that, people normally took 2 images and only selected those that appeared on 2 images. But if you do that, you're missing a lot of short-lived phenomena that might only be seen for a few minutes.
Pre-satellites in space, objects surrounding the Earth, how many of these transients did you find?
Well, it depends on how one counts now. Our original sample is around 105,000 transients from just the northern hemisphere, but we assume that it's only 1/3 of these that are relevant, so we can count on 70,000 all over.
So crazy. I mean, are we so 105,000? That's over 7 years, I think.
Yes.
Right. So it could be the same objects or something. But it's crazy because these objects have reacted to us also becoming more sophisticated. So once we were able to start, because there's been also studies done that UFO activity was mostly in the daytime or was half and half. Yeah, and Topher and I have discussed this.
Mhm.
And then in the 60s, it went down to 80% at night. So when they realized that we were looking at them, they changed their behavior. So the same thing with these transients. They were up there reflecting sunlight. We don't see them anymore. We have satellites up there. We have SpaceX up there. It's not the same as when Gemini started going up there, or Apollo, or so they've changed their tactics with us and have evolved technologically as well to stay hidden, which is disturbing.
That's very disturbing. Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, what and I mean, it was, I think, also Richard Dolan who sort of tried to estimate on the basis of the reports that come in at the UFO.
Right. Yeah.
MUFON. On the MUFON data and other data, but especially MUFON data, how many genuine UFO sightings there are on a yearly basis. And I think, from the top of my head, I think he also came up with like 7,000 genuine UFO sightings a year. So it was a crazy amount.
Yeah.
And then he started sort of speculating, if you have that many UFO sightings a year, where are they? How can they keep hidden so well? And what the hell are they doing, right? Because then it's like a full-scale operation that's ongoing.
It's a full-scale operation, and that is just so scary to think about. That they're always around, they're always looking, and always doing whatever, and we just can't see them.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
Yeah. It really does seem like we're in some experiment.
Do you want to know what my favorite UFO case is?
Sure.
Yeah,
definitely. I do. Yeah.
Okay, it's this one, and I think you guys know it too, and you probably talked about it many times. But
you
saw
the
Ariel.
UFO?
Yes.
That's surrounded by little ones?
Yeah, one big one. One spaceship.
Yeah.
Little ones around.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see your drawing. One big one.
One big ship and then small ones surrounding it with there were lights.
Yeah.
Surrounding the ship.
Like Sean's, huh? This is Sean's drawing.
Yes. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And okay, one landed, the big one landed, and the two aliens came out.
Yes.
And what happened with the little ones?
The little ones, they were just flowing around in the air. They didn't touch the ground.
And that, these made the silver lights?
Yeah. They were making different color lights, like green,
like
red,
flash to green, then they'd go to blue,
and then purple.
green. Yeah, purple and red. But it was like it was going like each one to each one, but quickly.
Yeah,
like
they'll go there and then it'll vanish, and then it'll go there and vanish, and then vanish.
Oh, really?
But going quickly, like as if it was one ship moving. Yeah. Places.
Can this drawing?
Come on.
Were they yellow?
No. I didn't have a silver crayon, so I did it yellow.
Yeah. So, but what happened? You came home and you told your parents.
Yes. Some of them didn't believe it. My mom didn't believe me.
Your mom didn't believe you?
My mom also. She didn't believe me.
Is that hard? Because if you see something and nobody believes you, what happens?
Well,
Yeah, you
feel
start
sad.
You start
feel
to
lost out.
You talk yeah, you start to think as if it wasn't true. Yeah. And people say to you, no, it wasn't true, so you think it wasn't true.
Then you think that you're mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, you get all upset.
Yeah, and everyone starts teasing. And my friends over the road, when I go there and I tell them about it, they just say, oh, he believes in aliens, oh, he's stupid.
You've seen too many movies.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
Was there nobody in your neighborhood who believed you?
A little bit, and that's all.
Who was scared? Not all of you, huh? Who was dreaming about it since then?
Yes.
In a bad way?
Bad way.
Yeah, in a bad way? No, tell me first in a bad way. Why? You have nightmares about it?
Yes, I used to, but then after about a year, I stopped dreaming about it.
Mm-hmm.
I dreamt that the same one I saw without hair, he came into my bedroom and he took me from my bed.
Did you dream that?
Yes.
Yeah?
And then I just screamed. I woke up and screamed.
And what did your mom say?
Well, she just kept on saying it was a nightmare. She didn't really believe me. I wasn't scared a bit.
No, not at all.
I think they came here to try and warn us that the children because we're young.
Got a long time.
We've got a long time till we die. To warn us that when we're older, there's something going to happen to the earth. Yeah, and not to pollute. Because we're young, we can still prevent it. Yeah.
Do you still have all that feeling? That as a child you can do a lot?
Yes. I have it.
Yeah? Do you feel, as a child, do you feel privileged? Or do you think, next time if the UFO is coming, please go to another school?
No, I feel privileged.
You feel privileged that you saw it?
I'd love them to come back and you could see them again. But only this time closer.
What do you want to say?
The only thing I want to know, when are we going to be on TV?
Dude, that's amazing.
That's a great last question to ask.
Yeah, and that's a great clip. I've never seen that one with them all like that.
We
I've
did
never
cover
seen
that
this one too.
case, Adam. We did a
Yeah.
deep dive on that one.
Yeah, we covered the case, but I've never seen that with them.
Yeah,
all
I
together
haven't.
like
I haven't
that.
seen that clip either. But just
Yeah, I think it's a new clip.
they
I mean,
brought all those
recently
kids
released.
back after all this time. I mean, this is a couple years ago now, but they re-interviewed all the kids that saw what was going on, and they all stuck to the story. I mean, it's an absolutely fascinating case.
Yeah, and it has to do with technology and something. Is there really a uranium extraction or a uranium mine nearby the school?
I'm not sure about that. Could be. I would have to look into that.
There are a lot of mines in Africa, so it's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, and then also, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk are both from South Africa.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is right. Interesting. And they're all for technology, even though these beings, right? They said stay away from technology. Don't get too technological.
Yeah, and take
Oh,
basically
did you
what
guys-
we do.
Oh, did you guys see Candace Owens said that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel are the
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like hybrids?
Oh,
She's-
wow.
yeah,
It's
she-
crazy.
She said they're hybrids. It is
Yeah.
crazy.
But
That's probably next with Candace.
the message from the children is like, also nuclear peace, disarmament, take care of the planet. Right? It's sort of repeating in many of these cases that the central message that's promoted or promulgated by UFO cults and religions and abductees and
Gotta stick to the script.
yeah, and the
Yeah, I
people
mean-
who take psychedelics, in the flower power movement, it's sort of echoes the same message.
So maybe that goes back to Valet's control structure. That this phenomenon needs to control our progress somehow.
But then, then you sort of, what Jesse Mitchell's like with the 3 theories, it can be benevolent, but it can also be seriously disturbing, right? So you can argue 2 ways. And then apart from that, you got in religious texts, you got at least 2 teams, right? And a lot of other entities in between that are sort of fighting each other. So if
but even the religious aspect is also a control structure, right? There's a control structure that needs to be obeyed and abide by, and then it's like it's always been like this eternal struggle with human freedom and human enslavement. It's like it's always that in whatever context you put it in, and it can apply to the UAP issue as well, where maybe our elite cannot even get out of this system of control, so they're creating another system of control.
Yeah, where they are the boss.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just like a bad child that's been raised in the wrong way. It's sort of copying the behavior of their parents,
which is what Satan is supposed to be, right? In that context, the rebel, the rebellious, bringing light to humanity,
or Prometheus.
Or Prometheus, yes, with Giorgiani. I mean,
yep.
His way of thinking.
This one is also cool. This is an interview with one of the kids when he.
Oh, is this the guy that says all fake?
3 beings. 2 of them kind of remained within the line of sight from the playground to the craft, and another one, which is also one of my most vivid memories, was one of the beings actually darting from the craft towards the direction of the swimming pool. The swimming pool, which was probably about 200, 300, 400 meters to the left of the playground. And the most peculiar thing was the way in which it moved, because it almost felt as if it would disappear and appear a few meters ahead of itself.
Yeah, that one is new thinking a lot.
Great, that's a great podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, but that's also something, sort of the time dilation and sort of time mismatches and sort of the jumps in time that are often reported. Did you guys see the one from Joshua, that the Ross Coulthard interview about shadow people on nuclear bases?
I don't think so.
I did not. No.
Oh wow, we covered that one yesterday, but I'm gonna play one more clip from it because it's I didn't have the time yesterday, but this sort of fits into everything that we are talking about right now, and it's super cool. But he was sort of head security at Nellis Air Base.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it turns out that there are continuous reports about shadow beings on nuclear bases, not only there, but all over the place. And a lot of other crazy stuff, including UFOs. And this clip that I'm going to play is about a UFO encounter. They sort of see 3 lights, or at least, people on the base sort of report that there are lights flying around, and they send them to check it out. And this is sort of, the result.
So shadow beings on the base. Yeah, I remember. I just can't remember where I read this, where they would, even in secure areas, they would find evidence that something went in to look for something. Right? Okay.
So this is first-hand reporting, first person.
I guess a finisher on the previous incident. I did want to say that we did find out that we basically had lost about 20 to 30 minutes of time.
Wow. And did it feel like that length of time?
No. And that was basically after we were there for 10 minutes. I tried a radio check when I realized, wait, nothing's transmitting. We couldn't get through on the radios, so I made the call. Let's go back to the perimeter and make visual contact with the patrols on the inside, thinking our radios were fried or something. When we got, it was almost like we crossed a line, an invisible line, And as soon as you cross this line, all three of our radios started transmitting again. We started hearing people on the inside transmitting.
And were they freaking out that you weren't responding?
Yes, everyone was looking for us, and that's also what I can't explain, because we were in a kind of, from their point of view, our original position was kind of hidden to where they couldn't really see us. They knew where we were at, but once we left that position, it was flat desert. There's just no feasible way that patrols using night vision with high ground wouldn't have seen us walking. And nobody spotted us until we got close to where we had stopped our vehicles at. That's when patrols spotted us, which was about the same time that the radio started working.
That's
I was
really
told by
freaky.
my...
So basically, they couldn't even get visuals on you at a time when you really should have been able to be seen.
It should have been clear as day that we were walking back to the perimeter. They should have seen us long before, especially with night vision. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Wow. So this
Wow. I mean, isn't that go to the dark forest theory? Right?
Yep.
Where advanced beings they cloak themselves.
Yep.
Using whatever technologies to do it. And it's not like it's a quiet or lonely universe. It's that anyone who's evolved to a level where they're like, wait a minute, we don't want anyone to know we're here, just cloak their entire civilization.
Yeah, that's also what Brilliant said. Like, there's beings around you at all times that you are not aware of, right? And also, you know, just with the kid who was older from the aerial phenomena or playground school, he also, you know, the way that the alien moved to the swimming pool, it sort of skipped.
It was floating.
Yeah. Yeah, it sort of skips out of time, like you know, there's sort of a and I think it was Skywatcher who also mentioned that Three Eye Atlas is also skipping, that you know, that it's sort of skipping ahead, like, you know, that the trajectory is not like consistent.
Yes, they've predicted where it should be, and it's gone miles.
Yeah, it's skipping
more than that. Right? Yeah, exactly. Well, I think this goes back also to ancient human civilizations, where we've always said there's beings that we can't see that are around us. Right? Islam talks about the jinn. The Irish talk about not elves. Is it
fairies?
Fairies, yes, yeah, exactly. And they have their own worlds as well. And humans have gone there. They've taken humans there and brought them back.
Yeah, and missing time, and you know, suddenly they're much older, or the people around them are dead. Yeah, those are very famous Celtic stories.
So that guy you just played, so there was something at the nuclear base that they went to go check out. Is this, if I'm getting it right? And they went to go check it out, and they were invisible when they went to go check it out. When they left the area, they all of a sudden showed up.
Yeah. So their group or their team, as soon as they sort of entered this area, and at the moment that they sort of entered that area where they sort of visually disappeared, and their radio died, and within that period, by the way, they also forgot about their radios, because normally you're in constant contact with each other, but then, you know, they didn't think of, you know, even checking their radios. But at that very moment, the three lights that they were trying to find information about, like that were spotted on the base, sort of zoomed in on them, you know, from all directions, like they were being encircled, and then they sort of moved in on them. But they didn't see those lights from their perspective. They didn't see anything. They even had like a canine unit with them, but also the dog didn't respond in any way to what was happening. So from their perspective, there was nothing going on. But from the outside perspective, from sort of the people monitoring what they were doing, they were disappeared, and they were sort of being attacked by these white lights.
That's so crazy. It reminds me of there's that one story he tells. I think it was in the 20s or 30s. They lived on a farm. Him and his brother.
Is that the guy who came out with a shotgun because he thought they were like goblins or something?
Oh wait, no, not that one. No, this is like
never mind.
They used to watch this saucer come down with beings coming out, and there was like a force field that they couldn't get through, and that when they tried to move, it would just stop them. And then over several days or weeks, it would allow them more to come in until they were completely in. Then they were trusted by these beings. I mean, I don't know if his story is right, but he's written books, and he said that they even spoke German to him, and they were from German ancestry. But like even these, because they looked human, and that they were always testing the soil and looking at the soil and the plants and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll send it to you, Nick. It's a crazy story.
And you know David Paulides and the Missing 411, right? And
yes.
there's this separate group of missing people, which should proportionally it shouldn't be so big as it is. Like, it's exceptionally big, and those are German scientists that are disappearing en masse, right? Typically people from German origin with a scientific background are disappearing more frequently than everybody else.
You're kidding me. The 411, he said that it correlates to German scientists or German ancestry.
Not alone, of course. There's also
right.
There's a couple of groups like berry pickers.
Yeah.
What were the others? It is like 4 or 5 groups of people who are on average disappearing. And of course, when he's talking about disappearing, he's not talking about predation or people getting lost and being found again. These are like the strange disappearances that remain solved. He has some what you call it? Well, it doesn't matter. But anyway, German scientists is one of the group of people who are overrepresented within the disappearances. Yeah.
I mean, that links back to Giorgiani's thing of the time traveling Nazis.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, I mean the Nordics. What's his name said that he saw Nordics. Oh no, he saw the Greys first, and then they called in the Nordics. So he believes the Greys works for the Nordics.
Yeah, one of those abductees, right?
Yeah, God, what's his name from Arizona? The lumberjack.
Man,
I can't believe I'm forgetting his name.
Fire in the Sky guy.
Yeah, exactly that guy.
Walton.
Yep.
Right.
There
Travis
it is.
Walton.
Oh yeah,
Travis Walton. Yeah. And it's funny how Hollywood didn't tell that part of the story that he saw humans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so pissed at that movie in the Fire in the Sky because they didn't even show this story. They showed the story of the guys who were looking for it. That was not the interesting part. The interesting part was the abduction. That was dumb. I think they're making a new movie, and they will show everything else. Yeah.
That whole movie was wild because even Travis Walton said like everything outside of the UFO abduction in the movie is like super realistic, and then the whole UFO part where he's abducted, everything in that part super did not happen.
Right. Yes. Exactly. Yeah, where he was being trapped in this cocoon kind of thing, but I mean his story is fascinating because he went out where he fought them. He left the room. He got into a chair where he saw navigational things, and then the humans came in to calm him down, and he trusted them, and they calmed him down somehow.
Yeah, I think his interview with Joe Rogan is amazing. Don't watch the movie, but listen to that podcast. That's like the best one. He gave like the whole story in detail.
Wow. Yeah, his story's nuts. His story's crazy. So it is nuts how the narrative doesn't focus too much on the human element of these quote unquote aliens, right? It's always about the Greys or the reptilians or the mantids.
Yeah. But isn't it also that the Nordics are sort of very? There's not many sightings of them. It's like they're relatively few.
Well, according to Giorgiani, no, that a lot of them have. It's just not out there as much. Now he could be just saying that just so he can have his own perspective on it.
Yeah,
I don't trust Giorgiani at all. He's like a dumbass. Like seriously, he's the one who openly said that I work for Mossad. If you work for Mossad, you will never say that.
He said that he works for Mossad?
Oh, he didn't say that he works for Mossad.
No, he said that he worked with Mossad to overthrow Iranian government.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly,
yeah.
By the way, that interview is really good, and I think it's. I think he actually spoke the complete truth.
Which one? With Jesse or with Crowder? Not
no,
Crowder.
with what's his name? Denny. Denny.
Benny Johnson. He was interviewed by Benny Johnson.
No, not Benny Johnson. Denny Danny Johnson.
Oh, Danny Jones. Yeah, those are good. He had
Danny
2
Jones,
interviews.
that's it. Yeah.
Danny Jones. Yeah, those are great interviews. 3 hours or something.
Yeah, well, that interview is definitely worth watching. It's not so much about he talks about his own personal experience, which is also very interesting. I'm not sure if you guys are aware. We talked about it yesterday, and I agree with Sid that that you could sort of say that the evil beings have more of a red spectrum, that they live in the red spectrum, and that the good or positive beings might be living more in the blue ultraviolet spectrum of light. That's sort of what we talked about last time. But Giorgiani also had this sort of outer body experiences that he actually saw himself die in the future during an American uprising around this time. And he didn't want to sort of tell too much because otherwise it might come true. But he had sort of he felt his sort of soul outsip through his feet into a blue ultraviolet darkness, and then time dilated, like time stopped, and he had this vision of himself dying, around this age. But the point was more sort of no, go.
So it was around this time when that happened.
Yeah, that's sort of what I made up from what he was saying, but he was very sort of circumspect.
I mean, yeah, the thing is with him, he's been always like a right-wing activist, right? And especially when it comes to like Iran and
Trump. Yeah, and he never made a secret of it, right? It's not he's doing it in secret.
No, he definitely didn't. But yeah, the problem I have with his perspective on this is that he sees these time-traveling Nazis as the ones who created religion, right? And that they're tyrants and tyrannical, and that they don't want human agency and freedom, but that Israel and America are for that. So that's why he's on their side. So basically, he's not calling himself a Satanist. What he's saying is he wants to rebel against these time-traveling Nazis and God in a way, right? And he's for human freedom.
Yeah.
So I agree with Sid. I agree with Sid that I think he's working with the wrong people, but I think his goal is, as far as he formulated it, noble, right? I do think it's a good idea for humanity not to bow down for the next god that comes along. And to promote maximum freedom for every individual.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's with the people who don't want human freedom. It makes no sense. Exactly. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, and that's my argument with him. And I have tried to call him out on that. I'm like, how can you sit there and be for human agency, human freedom when you're siding with the biggest tyrants in almost human history?
Exactly. Also, this is how they work. If you study them, they have layers. They have like a secret layer, but they have like layers of these people. Like Avi Loeb is a part of that layer. Giorgiani is a part of that layer. They do their misguidance. They are there to misinform people. So I don't trust a word from Giorgiani.
Well,
I don't even consider him
But I do think, in that interview, he sort of talks about exactly what Sid is now talking about, but, also about when he was sort of in the alt-right movement and how they sort of set him up. And that story is extremely fascinating because it turns out that the MI6 sort of wanted him to do something that he didn't want to do. And what they tried to do was create a sort of new national fascism in the West by putting Giorgiani at the head of that. And that was not what he wanted, because he wanted a revolution in Iran, right? That was his goal. That was, what he openly stated. But they tried to merge UFOs, nationalism, and the alt-right into one thing that they probably can control, right? Because they thought they could control Giorgiani, right? Because they tried to bribe him and stuff. And so even though you can sort of disagree with him, I'm totally fine with that. And I also don't believe everything that he says. But he's a very interesting fellow with a very unique vision. I actually read some of his books, and they're very
They're great
interesting
books.
as well.
They're great books. I read them. Yeah, they are really good books.
He's a wild thinker.
He is
I think he's
interesting
his own
without a
man.
doubt. He's
Yeah, yeah.
he's a very interesting fellow, but he is also an Mossad agent. So
Yeah, when it comes to the in the important subject, the guy just ignores it. You know, that's why
Yeah.
I'm like, why? You know, why? How can you sit there and have such an expansive thought process, right, and analysis, and then just when it comes to this, you're like, nah, I'm with them, and they're on the good side of humanity. Of humanity.
Yeah, but,
yeah.
but I think also, you know, it's also what we talked last time, right? When we did the ranking or the rating of the different disclosure people. You know, and then we went through Richard Dolan and Louis Elizondo, but we also ranked Ashton Forbes, right? And back then he was
I
still
muted
okay,
him. I muted him. I couldn't handle it anymore. I just can't handle
yeah,
it.
I know,
and
but
I muted him too.
I know. Okay. But back then when we did the show, all of this was not an issue yet.
Yeah.
And we ranked him a 9.
We did?
No, I
Oh
didn't
my
rank
God.
him 9. You ranked him a 9. I ranked him like
What did
6.
I rank him for? I'm interested in what I ranked
I
him.
think on average we came on an 8. I gave him a 9, and I think Moos gave him 8, and I think Sid gave him a
All
7.
right, well, Sid knew what was going on.
But the point was, you know, we ranked him pretty high, right?
Yeah.
Compared to most of the others.
Compared to.
And then something like.
Sorry, go ahead.
And then but then something like this happens, and then suddenly, you know, he's off limits, right? So and I think, you know, when you sort of look at divide and conquer, like, you know, why are they even doing that, right? It is basically by playing people apart successfully, right? I mean,
no, it's not even a
this is how they
divide
do
and
it.
conquer. Like, if we see someone is a tool, then we have to call it out. It's not we are dividing. Actually, we are distancing ourselves from those agents. So I think it's a good and healthy thing.
You're dividing.
No, we are. So what does that mean? If we don't divide, and what we should continue with their line, that will be even a stupid thing to do. I think we should
No.
stay vigilant, and we should call out the black sheeps among us. That's the right way to do it.
Calling out is fine, but I think you should stay in communication and in touch with those people.
Yeah,
right?
but if
I
we
think the
for
reason
sure know that they
want
stay
us to
loud, I
break
don't think I want to be
the
a part of
iceberg.
that group, because then they will try to
Yeah.
corrupt your soul.
Yeah, but I think, you know, basically what they're doing in the world with all these wars and all these social and cultural issues and religious issues and ethnic issues is just, you know, make it so powerful and potent and emotional that people can't stand somebody else who, you know, takes the different side of that. And then start listening to each other, and then isolate each of us, and not take into account the good stuff and the true stuff that those people on the other side also
Yeah,
tell.
it's more nuanced. I mean, I'm sure there's people
Yeah.
who've muted me, you know, who just don't want to hear my
Yeah.
stuff about that. And then,
Yeah.
you know, even though I might have some good insights on UFOs, they're like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to listen to this guy because he's anti-Zionist
Yeah.
or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I can see that. And it's just for me, why I muted it just got too much. And even in comments and crazy stuff like saying USS Liberty is not important, like stuff like that. Like, all right, that's it, I'm done. Like, you know.
Also,
Yeah,
Ashton
no, I
Forbes
also-
actually covered anything real. It's just like he just took a story of Malaysian plane from the internet, and he just built his life around it. He is not into UFOs. Actually, he denied the UFOs. He said it's all
He did,
US secret technology. So I don't even like this whole idea of Ashton Forbes. He's just like a tool. He just wanted to gain attention. He did, and then he failed miserably.
Yeah, well, anyway, everybody has his own opinion, and that's fine, and I'm okay with it. I still believe him, but I disagree with him on the cultural issues.
I mean, yeah,
And
I mean,
yeah.
the research he covered has been great, right? And
Yeah.
it has risen awareness about at least the potential of nuclear energy and 0 point energy and plasma science. And, you know, people have been talking about that for a while, but didn't have a platform like his. He built that up and he decided to cover that stuff. It's just,
Yeah, and then I think also if you look at all the research that he and all the witnesses and all the things that he discovered around Malaysian Airlines, I think,
Yeah.
you know, if you actually look at the evidence that he's collected and all the people that he spoke to, I would be very hard pressed to to deny. We don't know what's happening there, right? He's saying it's the American government. You know, even
And it could be.
Yeah, it could very well be. I mean, it's very likely the American government or the deep state.
Yeah, but UFO phenomena is
the
an
point is the
ancient
evidence.
phenomena. It's not just start happening right now. You can go to any century, you will find UFO reports. So I
Yep,
don't.
yeah.
UFOs existed before United States. So that's why I
Yeah.
just
Yeah, no,
don't buy that
that-
thing that it's only United States government.
Oh, yeah, no, that's where I agree with you and where I disagree strongly with Ashton Forbes, right? I think you're absolutely right about it. But I think the Malaysian Airlines case, which is what he's focused on, I think that speaks for itself, right? I mean, he's collected so much data on it.
I mean, yeah, and the data surrounding it is how the hoaxer would have known. You know, I think the list is now, it goes to 20 or 30, right? That list is impressive. It's like you'd
Yeah.
have to know this, and this to hoax it in the way it was hoaxed. It's definitely a crazy case. And
Absolutely.
we still haven't found it.
Guys, do you want to wrap up with Carl Sagan?
Yeah,
Before we do, before we do, I just sent you like an image sent just to finish up the last point about UFOs. Can you open it, like Nick? You just show it, yeah. You know this one. It's a very it's a very famous rendition.
I totally
yeah. Not
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
yeah.
Sid.
No, but I just want to show the world that this is like actual event which happened in 1561. It's called the
Yeah, I've heard
over-
about this.
Yeah. So it's called 1561 Celestial Event over Nuremberg. And a lot of people saw these UFOs. I actually modernized it with the recent report, but basically they were seeing two types of different battleships who were fighting with each other. One was black, one was red, and then there were the third group which was observant, and they were they had a battle. A lot of people reported that this was in the newspapers, and then it disappeared. And after like 5 years, this phenomena appeared in a different city of Europe. I can't remember the name, but also that happened. So
Switzerland,
this
maybe?
this UFO thing has been happening a lot of the time, and the in those descriptions on the newspaper, the way they defined is like they were seeing spheres, they were seeing orbs,
There it
they
is.
were seeing this is the actual report from the back in the day. So
Mhm.
these are all the things they were defined back in the time.
Look at that. Cylinders, spheres, saucers.
Saucers, and the triangle was very important. And that was an actual battle they saw.
Yeah, and what is it? Is it the Mahabharata? Is it that one? The one from India?
Yeah.
That there's also, they had wars in the sky, right? And even like
Yes.
nuclear weapons, even.
Yeah, but the Mahabharata thing is like nobody experienced it, right? But this happened just in like 500 years ago, and there were so many witnesses. So this is like very credible thing.
No, absolutely, and it's also a really nice artwork that you made out of it. I like it.
Yeah,
No, I just made it
very
like I just reimagined it because nobody was paying attention when I draw it. Now it's like more mainstream, but I made it like 2-3 years ago, and the reason for that is like I wanted to bring the light to that event. It's a very important event.
Hey guys, do you also know? Speaking about that time, that was around the 18th century, I think. Do you also know about Immanuel Swedenborg? Have you ever covered that?
I don't think so.
No.
Emmanuel who?
Immanuel Swedenborg. You
No.
know, you got Immanuel Kant. He's like the famous philosopher, and he was actually inspired by Immanuel Swedenborg's writing. And Immanuel Swedenborg was he was a scientist and a philosopher and a mystic, and he predicted, not predicted, he had like a vision of the Great Stockholm Fire while it was happening. So, yeah, and that was in 1759. I just pulled it up, by the way. But it's really insane because, wait, I'll just read it because it's too insane. And he had like multiple witnesses. He had like 20 prominent witnesses who were at him at the time as it was happening. So I'll read it up. to you guys. So he saw it at a distance. Setting: Swedenborg has just returned from a trip to England and was visiting his friends in Gothenburg, about 300 or 400 kilometers from Stockholm, for a dinner party at the home of William Castle, a local merchant. Around 15 to 20 guests were present, including prominent locals. The vision unfolds. 4 to 6 p.m. Swedenborg arrived looking composed, but soon grew restless and pale. He excused himself to the garden for about 2 hours. 6 p.m. He returned, agitated, and announced to the group, a dangerous fire has just broken out in Stockholm, specifically Södermalm, the southern island district where his own home was located. He describes it starting near the Maria Magdalena church and spreading rapidly eastward due to strong winds and drought conditions. During the evening, as the dinner continued, Swedenborg kept going in and out, updating the stunned guests. He named specific friends and neighbors whose houses were already engulfed. One friend's home was already in ashes. He expressed growing anxiety, saying the flames were threatening his own house. 8 p.m. Suddenly relieved, he exclaimed, "Thank God the fire is extinguished, the third door from my house." He claimed it has been stopped by firefighters, creating a fire break just 3 buildings away from his property. And then the immediate aftermath in Gothenburg. Word spread quickly among the guests. The same evening, Saturday, one attendee informed the provincial governor, who summoned Swedenborg for a private debrief. Swedenborg repeated the details calmly, including the fire's origin, its path, and containment. The governor was so intrigued that he cross-checked with officials. By Sunday, the story was the talk of Gothenburg, and locals, many with ties to Stockholm, buzzing about his remote viewing. And then the verification and historical confirmation. The news arrival. In the pre-telegraph era, official word from Stockholm took 2 to 3 days by horse courier. And even if you have a bird, it would take a day. Monday evening, a messenger from the Swedish Board of Trade arrived, confirming the fire start time at 4 p.m. Saturday.
Wow.
Location, Södermalm, Maria Magdalena Church, and that it raged through the night. Tuesday, a royal courier brought fuller details matching exactly Swedenborg's account to the hour, including the exact spread, affected buildings, and extinguishment around 8 p.m. precisely 3 doors away from his house.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. This is all corroborated, and nobody has ever disproved or debunked this.
So he went outside and saw the fire live, even though it wasn't happening until days after.
Yeah, 300 or 400 meters. Kilometers away.
That is.
Yeah,
nuts.
I think he remote
Totally
viewed
nuts.
it.
Yeah,
That's
for
what
sure.
it sounds like. Yeah.
Maybe he took acid or something. I don't know what they were doing at that
dinner party. But he's like you also got a movie, Things Heard and Seen, on Netflix about him, or sort of about his philosophy and his theories, because he believed in a duality. Because of Immanuel Kant has like the world of noumena, the things in themselves, and the phenomenal world that we can see and perceive. And basically, that sort of duality between the unseen and the seen is also within Swedenborg's ideas. And sort of you got this spiritual realm that is non-local, as Skip Atwater would say. It is beyond space and time. And that is also he took a lot of these ideas from Swedenborg and put them in the Critique of der reinen Vernunft. And now they're sort of standard philosophy in Western tradition.
Very cool. I've never heard of that. That's very cool. Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Well, Swedenborg, I mean, yeah. Very cool. So was he a philosopher, Swedenborg, you said?
Yeah, Swedenborg was also a philosopher. So he wrote a lot of things, and he sort of worked out his whole idea about these two realms, and about clairvoyance and spirits, and where we go after we die. And he had this whole sort of metaphysics around it. And Immanuel Kant, in his early days, he studied Swedenborg, also, of course, because of this incident of the clairvoyance. And he was very intrigued about it. But later on, he sort of scoffed, and he said, he's just seeing things and it's not real. But basically, Kant's philosophy, for a large part, is based on Swedenborg's work.
Very cool. And was this around the same? When was he prominent? Was that around the same time as Steiner?
No, Steiner was later. So that's more like
Okay.
late 18th century.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is more like late 17th century, early 18th century.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny because they're all both called Immanuel. So it's Immanuel Kant with an I, and then Immanuel Swedenborg with an E. So
super interesting. Well, I mean, you guys are big fans of horror movies. Are you guys gonna be watching anything for Halloween?
I'm a big fan of horror movies. I'm gonna watch The Thing. I love that movie.
Hey, all right.
John Carpenter.
I was just going to bring up John Carpenter. Though I was going to watch a bunch of his movies.
Which ones?
Yo, he's great.
Yeah, I mean, you got In the Mouth of Madness. You got
I think
Prince
he's
of
a
Darkness,
legend.
They
He's like the
Live.
best. They Live, and then one of my favorite one is like that. What is Snake Plissken one? Escape from New York.
LA.
I love that.
Yeah,
Escape
so
from LA.
good.
Oh,
It's
that's a
amazing.
classic.
It's just easy.
Yeah. But The Thing is one of my favorites.
Oh,
The Thing is
it is
very good.
so
Like
good.
it's related to aliens. It's just amazing.
And The Mouth of Madness, of course.
Sid, have you watched The Void?
The Void. Oh yeah, The Void.
Can't
Yeah,
hear you.
I saw
I
that.
think-
The Void, yeah, it's a great one.
The Void. That's one of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah, it's a new one.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
newish.
Sid, you might have to go in and out.
Sorry about that.
I think we lost Sid.
No,
Sid,
I
if you
think
can
I'm
hear-
losing
oh, yeah.
internet connection or something.
Oh, I can hear him.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I just lost a connection for a second or something.
No problem. Yeah, no, The Void is really cool. I'm actually gonna do a horror marathon with my nephews and 2 friends. And we're gonna watch 4 films in a row.
Oh, nice. Which ones?
The Substance, which I love. The Weapons, the new one.
That movie is pretty wild.
It's really cool. Actually, I have seen all 4, so but I don't mind watching movies again. And
Yeah,
then
right.
2 French movies that I really love. One is called Switchblade Romance, and the other one is called L'Intérieur or Inside. Those are not so well known, but they're classics. They're really good.
Switchblade Romance. Oh, I haven't seen this one. Looks fun.
Yep. Yeah, definitely see it. If you haven't seen it, it's a treat.
2013. Wow.
Alexander Aya.
I also
think,
like
before he,
the traditional the traditional movies like Hocus Pocus. I love that. I'm gonna watch it. And then there's like
That's a good
one
one.
funny movie called Stan Helsing. I love that too. They're like comedy movies. They're funny. I like those kind of movies too for Halloween.
Nice.
Stan
So-
Helsing. Yeah.
I think we had a fun discussion. It was,
Absolutely.
Definitely.
we covered a lot of ground, and so this is sort of the start of your beginning of
Nice.
Bitcoin Live.
I like it because we talked a lot about philosophy, a lot about consciousness, which is really the most important, aspects of this phenomenon. The infighting is stupid, and the targeting is stupid, and it's a waste of time because it doesn't really.
Yeah, and
take-
also a waste of resources, right? Because I think a lot of
Yeah.
good people, or at least a lot of good points that people bring to the table get lost due to the stupid infighting and
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's the eternal struggle of human freedom and enslavement, and we're all about decentralization and maximum human freedom.
Yep.
In all counts, in all aspects.
and
right?
differences of opinion, right?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yes, exactly.
And then we can end it with Carl Sagan one. What?
Yes. Okay. My favorite
Good
clip,
idea. Good idea.
and it fits
Yes.
with everything that we discussed. So
All right, nice.
it's about flatland.
Yeah. Oh yes, this one.
Three-dimensional creature sees an attractive, congenial-looking square, watches it enter its house, and decides in a gesture of interdimensional amity to say hello. Hello, says the three-dimensional creature. How are you? I am a visitor from the third dimension. Well, the poor square looks around his closed house, sees no one there, and what's more, has witnessed a greeting coming from his insides, a voice from within. He surely is getting a little worried about his sanity. The three-dimensional creature is unhappy about being considered a psychological aberration, and so he descends to actually enter Flatland. Now, a three-dimensional creature exists in Flatland only partially. Only a plane, a cross-section through him can be seen. So when the three-dimensional creature first reaches Flatland, it's only the points of contact which can be seen, and we'll represent that by stamping the apple in this ink pad and placing that image in Flatland. And as the apple were to descend through, slither by Flatland, we would progressively see higher and higher slices, which we can represent by cutting the apple. So the square, as time goes on, sees a set of objects mysteriously appear from nowhere and inside a closed room and change their shape dramatically. His only conclusion could be that he's gone bonkers. Well, the apple might be a little annoyed at this conclusion, and so, not such a friendly gesture from dimension to dimension, makes a contact with the square from below and sends our flat creature fluttering and spinning above Flatland. At first, the square has no idea what's happening. He's terribly confused. This is utterly outside his experience. But after a while, he comes to realize that he is seeing inside closed rooms in Flatland. He is looking inside his fellow flat creatures. He is seeing Flatland from a perspective no one has ever seen it before, to his knowledge. Getting into another dimension provides as an incidental benefit a kind of X-ray vision. Now our flat creature slowly descends to the surface, and his friends rush up to see him. From their point of view, he has mysteriously appeared from nowhere. He hasn't walked from somewhere else. He's come from some other place. They say, for heaven's sake, what's happened to you? And the poor square has to say, well, I was in some other mystic dimension called up. And they will pat him on his side and comfort him, or else they'll ask, well, show us, where is that third dimension? Point to it. And the poor square will be unable to comply. But maybe more interesting is the other direction in dimensionality. What about the fourth dimension?
So cool,
great.
man.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yes. He's a great thinker. Was a great thinker.
And they got to him, right? Because at first he was sort of open to UFOs, and then suddenly he sort of changed his mind, and then he said, like, extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence, and that has been haunting the UFO world forever.
But even as early as the oh shoot, I just had their names on my mind. The Adam, what's the name of that couple that got abducted at the same time back in the
Betty
60s?
and Barney Hill?
Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah.
Thank you. Even as early as then, when she came back and she was like, here's the star map, that they showed me. Even then he was like, oh, this is nothing. This could be anything.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They definitely got to him. And we spoke about this before, Nick, and I was supposed to send you something. I just sent it to you now because I found it when he was talking about how to use NORAD and how they can update their systems to watch for uncorrelated targets. It was in 1968, so I think it's before they got to him.
Yeah.
I'm
also, he's the one who created SETI Institute. So I think he wanted to do the right thing, but I think he was blackmailed heavily.
Something, yeah, because he really turned on the subject at some point. And Brandenburg even talks about him. So yeah, this is from Richard Geldreich, amazing researcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, in 1968, Washington, D.C., astronomer Carl Sagan stated, quote, apparently, what is now happening is that the Air Force surveillance radar is throwing away the data that is of relevance for this UFO inquiry. This is, I think it was the congressional inquiry. In other words, if it sees something that is not on a ballistic trajectory or not in orbit, it ignores it. It throws it in the garbage. NORAD say they didn't track UFOs. However, this was just a sleight of hand. They did track UCTs, or uncorrelated targets. These are objects supposedly ignored because their speeds or trajectories filtered them out. This is crazy because it now ties in with Beatrice. And she was saying that Space Force was doing something similar, where if they're not tracking the objects, then it's not of importance. So we just not throw them away, but send them somewhere else to be analyzed. So he's known that NORAD has done this. He knew that. Yeah,
it's crazy. And then talking about getting to people, we can also play this clip for to give people sort of an idea of how at what level that happens, right? And this is from Jesse Michels.
Number 3, we're past public-facing UFO debunkers, just atomic insiders who were involved in UFO reverse engineering programs all along. One of Oppenheimer's close friends and colleagues was a quantum physicist named Edward Condon. Condon did more damage to the public perception of UFOs mid-century than maybe any other academic scientist. Condon and Oppenheimer go way back. They studied together under Max Born at Göttingen in the 20s. Condon then helped pick Los Alamos as the location for the Manhattan Project, even writing the Los Alamos Primer, a document that all employees had to read upon arrival. After leaving the Manhattan Project, Condon even helped draft the McMahon Atomic Secrecy Act of '46, which was the Atomic Energy Act of '54's predecessor. So clearly the guy was clued into atomic secrets. Again, the Atomic Energy Act of '54 is what Grush is saying governs UFO secrets. So clearly Condon was an atomic insider, and if the atomic programs had anything to do with UFOs, he probably knew a thing or two about UFOs as well. Now, the public-facing story is that Condon clashed with General Leslie Groves over just how extreme the atomic secrecy was at the start of the Manhattan Project. In the 50s, Condon then loses his clearance, like Oppenheimer, over communist sympathies. He then goes on to work on civilian science outreach initiatives. Then randomly, he pops back up in 1966, and his clearance is mysteriously restored. He's then placed on a panel, which deals a death blow to UFO research, claiming it's all a waste of time and money. Why would an open-minded scientist, committed to civilian outreach, be so dogmatically opposed to UFOs? Well, maybe he was blackmailed. You see, while being investigated for communist sympathies in the 50s, a dossier of field reports was being created on him in the background by an FBI field agent named Guy Hoddle. Hoddle is now famous for his 1952 Hoddle Memo, the most read document on the FBI's website. It describes an Air Force officer writing to Hoddle about a crashed UFO with an alien crew inside of it. So Hoddle definitely knew about UFOs. Was he just building blackmail on Condon and forcing him into becoming a UFO debunker? Remember, Condon wrote the McMahon Secrecy Act of 1946, which basically went on to govern UFO secrecy, if you believe David Grush.
The McMahon Act of '46, which was the predecessor to the Atomic Energy Act of 1954, the guys that were involved in Manhattan were overlaying the same ecosystem of secrecy and some of the same ways to protect stuff that they were protecting our nuclear secrets.
Well, yep, that's how they do it. They get to people somehow, and if these people if they like power and to be an insider, they'll just go along with it. Especially if they took his clearance before.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. The secret. I mean, just look at the UAPDA, the disclosure, right? They keep gutting it every single time it reaches the Senate or Congress. They gut it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with Carl Sagan, we know how to get him because he was a marijuana user and he was.
Was he?
Oh yeah, he was like a very famous marijuana user, and it was 80s, and it was a big crime. And secondly, he was involved in a lot of affairs, so I think they also got him through that. He was cheating on his wife, and then he later on divorced because of that. So that is like a so he had issues, but like all the people have issues, right? Nobody's perfect, so it was very easy to get him.
Yeah, and Menzel, that was another one they showed. I mean, Beatrice, and with her research, he destroyed some astronomical plates from that same observatory.
Yeah,
and he was a debunker.
Yeah. That's I don't have that clip ready, but that's definitely in the same order of business. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a small world up there of debunkers and people that, the high-profile debunkers, at least.
Like Mick West.
What is? I don't know what is his deal, unless he's like some MI6 guy. I just don't understand his thing unless he's truly just a skeptic. But it's just he takes so much crap. It's crazy.
Hey guys, have you ever seen that horror movie Late Night with the Devil? It's a really good...
Yes.
I haven't. No.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I haven't
okay,
seen it.
go see it. I think it's also on Netflix. But actually, so I don't want to spoil it too much. But there's a debunker in the panel, and he's sort of trying to debunk what is happening during that show, and that show is sort of like a very special show because it is sort of the last show, and something really crazy happens. So I'm not going to spoil it. But it turns out that the debunk. No, okay, I shouldn't spoil it. Okay, anyway, go watch it.
But it's the night. It's again. That's crazy. It's does it take in 1977 as well? Halloween.
Oh, yeah,
1977?
well, it's somewhere around that time. I'll check.
I remember because I'm born in 1977, so that's why I remember.
But this is a new one. The movie is from 2023, but it is based, or I'm not sure if it's based on something real, but it is set on Halloween night 1977. Wow. That is insane. Wow.
You tied that all together.
That was last time we had something like that, right? That it all came together.
Yeah. Crazy how that happens.
Wow.
Consciousness, man. Consciousness.
Look at this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check this out probably tonight.
Halloween night also. Wow.
All right.
You couldn't have even planned that if you wanted to.
Yes.
That is crazy, guys.
Wow.
By the way, this Halloween night, I am going out and looking for some anomalies. I'm pretty sure I will find something. And if you guys can, you should go to.
But
yes, definitely. I'll be out.
Anywhere you can, unless it's raining, then we can't do anything. But if it's
who knows? With you guys, it might be raining. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been raining for a while now. I'm very depressed right now because I can't even go out. It's just raining every day, like for last month. Since October it started. Every day it's raining.
It's gonna be snow soon for you guys too.
Yep.
I miss
snow is even worse, man.
So guys, shall we wrap it up?
Yes.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
But I had a really great time, and we should definitely do it once a month.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. And we, as we discussed, we'll restream our show on your network, right? You said every other week. So once.
And if you want, you can also restream crypto stuff on your channel. But
yes, to educate people with crypto. I mean, it's the future of money. That's where it's going, whether you like it or not.
We'll just come on your show and talk about it. Probably easy.
Nice, yeah, and we have something in the works as well. We're working out in the background. We'll announce it soon.
Awesome.
Very interesting. It's merging the two worlds of crypto and disclosure. So we'll see where that takes us.
Yeah, that's
Amazing.
super cool. So let's wrap it up. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Yep, great talking to you guys as always.
Same here.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Talk to you guys soon.
Take care.